Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the NBA slate on DraftKings for Thursday, October the 18th. We have a short 3-game slate for this Thursday, but there is still money out there. So I'm going to be breaking down this slate, giving some of my early thoughts, some of my favorite plays at each position. We'll talk about the stud plays, if there are any that I like, and then we'll talk about value plays as well. But before we do get started, guys, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video. It does mean a lot. If you are new to the channel, if you're new to NBA on my channel, thank you so much for clicking on the video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. Also, if you do click the bell that's next to the subscribe button, that will send you a notification every time I upload. So if you don't want to miss out on any new videos, you can do that as well. But yeah, let's go ahead and look at point guard for today. Ben Simmons is our most expensive point guard on DraftKings. He is $9,500. Gets a matchup at home against the Bulls. Really good spot for Ben Simmons. He is coming off a monster game in the season opener. I believe it was Tuesday night against the Celtics. He went out and put up about 65 DraftKings points, I believe. I think he had a triple-double, if I'm not mistaken. Simmons is obviously a good play, but I do like Damian Lillard for nearly $1,000 cheaper. This is a really good spot for Damian Lillard. Fast-paced game. I love this Lakers-Portland game as just a game to target for fantasy, just because you got two teams that play fast, especially the Lakers. The Lakers are going to be one of the pretty much fastest-paced teams in the league. So I really like Lillard here. He's going to most likely be guarded by Rondo. I believe Rondo is going to start for the Lakers. Rondo, not a very good defender, so just a great spot for Damian Lillard. Great play on the slate. He's cheaper than Ben Simmons. He might come lower owned than Ben Simmons, or he might come at lower ownership than Ben Simmons will. So I have a lot of interest in Lillard. Just think he's a great play overall. We know how good this guy is, especially in those primetime games. Dame Dollar really steps up, plays well. If I'm paying up at point guard and if I can fit Lillard in, he's going to be a priority for me on this slate. But there are definitely other plays you could go to. You do have John Wall for $400 cheaper. I don't have a ton of interest in John Wall, though. It's a 3-game slate, so I'll probably have some exposure just because of how few options we have. But Damian Lillard is by far my favorite point guard if I am paying up. If I just have to choose one, I'll most likely be rolling with him. But you got like CJ McCollum at 7,100, who is for sure in play for me on this slate. In this mid-range, you got Zach LaVine at 6,400 against the Sixers. Dragic going up against the Wizards. I like the Heat just as a team today for value. This is a team that's really thin. James Johnson missed Wednesday's game, so did Dion Waiters, so did Winslow and Wayne Ellington. And the Heat are on a back-to-back, so I would imagine none of those guys play again today. So we could see a lot of value from the Heat. Guys like Dragic are going to be looking at big minutes. Richardson should be looking at some big minutes. So I do really have a lot of interest in Gordon Dragic. I think he is a really good play if you want to go to him at 6K. Also really like D. Wade at 4,800. I think D. Wade, a really good option. You can play him at point guard or shooting guard. He should be looking at really nice minutes off the bench for this Heat team. With Wayne Ellington out, with Winslow out, and with Dion Waiters out as well. D. Wade's probably going to be forced into at least 25 minutes, if not more than that. We'll talk about Rodney McGruder. I think McGruder, a really good value play, but focusing on D. Wade, I see him playing a lot of big minutes off the bench. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot, running the second unit. So D. Wade at 4,800 is for sure in play for me as a cheaper option you could go to at point guard or shooting guard if you want to play him at one of those positions. And then there's even more value at the position under D. Wade. I do like Markelle Fultz here. He is only 4,500. He is really, really cheap. Should be starting again for the Sixers. He did start in the season opener against the Celtics. He didn't have that great of a game. He played about 24, 25 minutes. I think he put up about 16 DraftKings points. I think he had like 9 points, like 5 rebounds maybe a steal or 2 I think he had. I expect a big bounce-back game from Fultz in a good matchup against the Bulls. I think he plays really well today. And at 4,500, getting a starter playing probably 25 to 30 minutes, I think Fultz is a cheap value option that we can consider. There are some studs on this slate that we are for sure going to want to pay up for. So trying to find value is going to be key, and I think there are value plays, especially at point guard. So I like Fultz for cheap. I like D. Wade for cheap. And I think that's really it for the point guard value plays that I see, that I have my eye on. So moving on to shooting guard, looking at some guys I haven't talked about. You do have Bradley Beal up top here at 6,800. Beal for me, I have interest in. I don't know if he's like a core play for me or a guy I'm going to like really load up on. But at 6,800, that does feel a tad bit underpriced for Bradley Beal, especially for a guy that can average 35, 40 DraftKings points every night. 6,800, a little bit too cheap. Between him and CJ McCollum, if I had to pick one, I think I'd roll with McCollum just because I like that game more. I like the pace of that game a lot more against the Lakers. But Beal is for sure in play if you do want to consider him. But shooting guard for me, I like the value here. We'll talk about Rodney McGruder. He is a good value play, at least in my opinion. He's 3,900. And like I mentioned earlier with the Heat injuries, with how many guys are going to be injured and probably miss this game, I expect Johnson, Waiters, Winslow, and Ellington all to probably not play again since they're on a back-to-back. So McGruder should be starting. He started Wednesday night. He should be looking at least 25, if not 30 minutes or more. I know McGruder is not the best when it comes to fantasy and point per minute. McGruder is not the best just in general. But you're getting a guy at sub 4K that's going to play probably 25 to 30 minutes. Could easily pay off this price tag. Like I said earlier, there's studs we want to pay it for, so finding cheap guys I think is key on this slate. And I like McGruder as well. Another cheap option you can consider if you want to play him as shooting guard or small forward. He's an option that I have my eye on. But he's probably my favorite value that's really, really cheap, at least early looks of this slate. I expect him to be the guy I probably have exposure to. Depending on who starts at shooting guard for the Lakers, whether you want to go to KCP or Josh Hart, they are both cheap, 4,800 for KCP, 4,300 for Josh Hart. I think either one of those guys is in play, especially the starter you could go to. But moving on to small forward, we do have LBJ up top here against Portland, making his Lakers debut. Just love LeBron here, 10,800. I mean, it's a short slate, it's a 3-gamer, so LeBron for sure has got to be a guy we have to consider, if not just totally lock in. 10,800 might be too cheap of a price tag for LeBron James. On his new team, even though they have guys that can handle the ball, they have Rondo and Lonzo. I expect LeBron James to have the ball in his hands a ton. And we know the kind of upside LeBron has, triple-double upside, 30 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. LeBron could easily get that in this game. If it's a close game, we could see LeBron just totally go nuts. So at 10,800, I feel like I have to have him. I think he's a must on this slate. Won't go all in. I won't be locking him in, but if I play 150 lineups on this slate, he's probably going to be in at least 80%. He's probably going to hit my cap at about 80%. LeBron, just a great play on the slate, and I'll be jamming him in as much as I can. Other plays at forward that you could consider, there are some guys in like this mid-tier that I think are definitely playable. You got Kuzma at 5,500, who is for sure an option for me. Josh Richardson, I expect to play really big minutes again today. At 6,200, you could go to him. Cheaper plays, Jabari Parker will be interesting to see how he fits in with the Bulls. He is 5,200, pretty cheap option if you want to go there. You got Robert Covington, who is not the best fantasy point per minute kind of guy, but he is 4,700, pretty cheap, and he's going to be looking at big minutes. I expect Covington to play 30, 35 minutes, and at that price tag, I will for sure have some exposure to him just as a cheap value play that's going to get minutes. Power forward's kind of the same. Kelly Olynyk at 6,100, I had interest in on Tuesday or Wednesday. I looked at the box score before I started recording. It didn't look very pretty. Kelly Olynyk really let me down Wednesday night. Don't know if I'm going to go back to the well, especially at 6,100 again. I was hoping for a bit of a price decrease. So since Olynyk's that same price, I think I'll shy away. This for sure will be the game where he goes off since I get off of him. But other power forward plays, you got Sarge in this mid-range at 5,500 you could go to. I probably would play Kuzma over Sarge, but Sarge on a 3-game slate definitely will be in my player pool. You got like Covington for value, who I've mentioned. I think is a cheap option you can consider. But that's really it for power forward, at least the plays I see. Moving on to center, definitely have some studs at this position. You got Joel Embiid at 9,700 against the Bulls. You also have Whiteside at 7K going up against the Wizards and Dwight Howard. Embiid, starting off with him, I do like Embiid on this slate. If you can fit him in, it's going to be hard to play like him, LeBron, and Lillard in the same lineup, so you're going to have to sacrifice one of those two guys. I'll probably have lineups where I go LeBron, Embiid. I'll probably have lineups where I go Lillard, Embiid. And then if I can, maybe I'll try and go Lillard, LeBron, and Embiid, get all three in. When it comes to studs on this slate, I would definitely rank them. Factoring in price, I would probably rank them LeBron, Lillard, then Embiid, then Simmons, and then John Wall, just when it comes to the guys that are 8K and above. So I'm going to have exposure to Embiid. He's not like a core play for me, I don't think, on this slate, but obviously I'm going to have exposure on a 3-game slate. Whiteside as well, I do like here against Washington. Against Dwight Howard, I expect that Whiteside to have to be on the floor. They're going to need a big guy to go up against Dwight Howard. Whiteside at 7K, definitely in play for me. Yusuf Nurkic, I'm kind of scared of here against the Lakers, just because I expect the Lakers to sort of play some small ball, and Nurkic might not be needed here. When McGee's going to be on the floor, I expect Nurkic to be on the floor. McGee will start the game for the Lakers, but I don't know how many minutes JaVale McGee's going to play. That's why I am a tad bit concerned about Nurkic, and just if this game goes small, then Nurkic might not play that many minutes. Dwight Howard at 5,900 feels way too cheap. I do like him at center. If you can play him, if you want to take out a guy like D Wade, replace him with Howard, maybe take out Fultz, replace him with Howard, I totally understand that. Dwight Howard seems way underpriced, sub 6K, facing Whiteside, who is not the best defender. As long as Howard's able to go today, I do like him at center. And I think that's probably it for center, at least for me. I want to like JaVale McGee, but I just don't know how many minutes he's going to play for this Lakers team. JaVale McGee has never been a guy that's played 30, 35 minutes. He's always been a 15 to 20 minute guy per game. With the Lakers, when he got the minutes, he was pretty efficient. He was pretty good for fantasy. McGee could drop 30, 35 DraftKings points in 20 minutes. We saw him do it a lot with the Warriors. Even when he was getting just a few minutes off the bench, he was still averaging fantasy, if not 1.5 DK points per minute. I expect him to get about 18, 20 minutes off the bench. He'll probably start the game, play about 7 minutes, maybe play a couple minutes for the half ends, and then do the same thing in the second half. If you think he can get 25, 30 DK points in 20 minutes, then for sure should be on your radar at 4,500. But I'll probably wait and see on JaVale McGee before I put him in my lineups today. So I think that's it for center, guys, and I think that is it for the video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. Hopefully this video was very helpful. If you did enjoy, just make sure you click that like button down below before you get out of here. And if you have not subscribed yet, make sure you click that subscribe button as well. Also, be sure to trigger the bells, turn on notifications so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. And if you do have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT, or you can just leave any comments down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But yeah, good luck tonight, guys, and we'll see you back again on Friday. Peace.